Good morning, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to every one of you for this 620th session. And to continue on the topic of listening, which will be there today and tomorrow, I have great pleasure introducing a very, very old family friend of ours. Her name is Rashmi, and Rashmi is in Singapore, and Rashmi is an award-winning entrepreneur. Right? She was in the fashion industry and she had business in Singapore. Now she's a certified trainer for learning and performance, right? And her own entrepreneurial background has really helped her in understanding and taking this to her own coaching and training that she does. Now, she's a person who constantly upgrades her skills by getting more and more certifications, all right? And what I like the most is that she's a lady who helps other ladies. She believes in women empowerment, and she has helped many ladies, many women to become successful entrepreneurs. So she's a very welcome addition to our whole team here, and it gives me great pleasure. Please help me to welcome Rashmi. Over to you, Rashmi. I'm sure you'll keep them engaged today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Deepak, for that wonderful introduction. I'm totally humbled with what you have just shared. It is a journey, I think, and all of us here are on that path of learning and growing and seeing how we can take the next step. So it gives me immense pleasure to take the conversation that we started yesterday on listening to having a more open discussion about really dissecting what listening is and understanding the various nuances that are involved in listening. So welcome everybody, and let's look at how we can all live a life of ease, joy, and glory. One of the beautiful things, Sukhdeepak ji, that you shared yesterday was that we are here not to be comfortable. We are here to also lean a little bit into our discomfort, so that when we step out, life comes to us with ease, with joy, and with glory. So I would really like to request each and every one of us to fully engage in this session today and really get into the mode of listening. So can I just ask, how's the morning going today? How's everyone doing today?
Awesome.
Great. Can I see everyone on the videos?
Awesome.
Fantastic. So we all know, and Sukhdeepak ji has reiterated this many times, that we are here every morning with our commitment to shift from the survival mode to the create mode, and to dissipate all negativity we pick up at all times from other people and circumstances, and being a possibility seeker rather than a complainer. So going with this whole attitude of being a possibility seeker and giving our best focus and lots of energy in today's session, let's look at how and where the interferences are coming in our lives. We all want to perform to the best of our ability. Is that right? Can we just have a show of hands that if you believe that we are all here to give the best in our lives? Fantastic. And can we also have a show of hands. If we know that we want to give the best in our lives, there are certain interferences that come when we want to give the best in our life. Thank you. Can we have more participation today? Would someone like to share about what are the interferences that come in the way of our potential? Would somebody like to just type it in the box? What do you think are the interferences that come when we want to explore our full potential? Procrastination. Thanks, Siva Prasad. Anything else? Premji, Gurunandanji? Self-beliefs, right? Anything else that comes up? Laziness. Yeah. Politics. Wonderful. That's limiting beliefs. I mean, Shaktiji, just can you elaborate a little bit more on that limiting belief? Judgment.
Yeah. Good morning, Dashmina. Limiting belief, I cannot handle this. I'm not capable enough.
Okay.
That
All
kind of
right.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Judgment. So this worrying about past failures. Okay, wonderful. So these are, we are all aware that there are these interferences that come to us, even though we want to be able to perform to the best of our potential. So let's look at it in the light of, our minds, our bodies, our emotions. And also let's just look at it in the light of what listening is all about. So, are there any questions that come to your mind when we're talking about all the impediments that came up, and now we are talking about listening? Can you somehow link what you have said, the impediments, to the concept of listening, or what you understand about listening? Would anybody like to share? We have judgments, we have limiting beliefs, we are worrying about the past failures, we are losing oneness with others, right? So when we are looking at the process of listening, really, what are the questions that are coming to your mind? Anybody would like to share? Just raise your hand, please, if anybody would like to share anything that's coming to your mind when you're talking about being ready to be a good listener, and you're thinking about all these impediments. Is it like, yes, Siva Prasad ji.
I just want to keep my arrogance outside and then listen to people.
You'd like to keep your, sorry, can you repeat that? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please repeat that? I lost you for a second.
No, I just want to be out of my arrogance.
Okay.
And listen to people.
Okay. And yesterday we did discuss what arrogance means to you.
Yes,
right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that?
Thinking always I'm right.
Okay.
I know everything.
Okay, great. So let's park that question there. Abhinavji, you wanted to say?
Yeah, Yeah, so what is coming to what is coming to my mind is that do I really want to listen? Because I have kind of maintained a kind of a peace with myself, and sometimes listening to people disturb that peace as well.
Okay. So you feel that listening to people disturbs your peace, and that
At
doesn't
times, yeah,
at
listening
times.
to all guys. See, I would love to listen to you. I would love to listen to Sudeepak ji, all the people in this group, but out there in the world, people say something, mean something, end up doing something. So I'm not too sure if I want to really listen to them or even relate to them.
Right. So there are certain behaviors that make you think that you want to withdraw and you don't want to communicate or you don't want to listen. Is that right?
Okay. Rashmi, there's something I'd like to say.
Yes.
See, we talk about willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. It doesn't mean that you have to do what they say. It doesn't mean you don't do what they say. It simply means, are you willing to accept another person's point of view without changing it? So, Abhinav, one of the things maybe that's stopping you from listening is that you're afraid to listen to the judgments of others. Anyways, so that's what I wanted to say. Carry on, Rashmi.
Okay, thanks.
Vitravalji, you wanted to say?
Yes, Ji, amazing topic. For me, every time when I say myself listening, I'm just trying to understand what I already know, what this person is speaking. Always is understanding business is going. So I really want to know, is there a space beyond this understanding where last week also we touched upon a topic on the getting versus understanding. So I'm very curious to know further on that.
Getting versus understanding.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so keep that question as we go into the session.
Thank you, Rashmi.
Guru Nandanji, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, exactly what Sudeepak sir just said was my thought as well. And, especially when it comes to your critics. So we don't, as a human nature, we don't, because we think from our point of view, we don't accept or we don't like to listen to the critics part of our journey.
Right. So our listening shuts down the minute we hear criticism. And that's where the communication stops. Okay, so please stay with that question as we go deeper into the session. So thank you for all those questions. Now my next, so now it's my time to ask a question, if that's okay with everyone. So I would just like to ask you that if you were to rate yourself between 1 and 10, that 10 being that you're already a very good listener, to 0 being that you're not at all interested in being a good listener. How would you rate yourself? You can just type in the chat box. Okay, thank you. Some more? Thank you. Thanks, Sabinu. Thanks, Lena. Thanks, Vitrivel, Niti, Abhinavji, Shakti, Priya. So we all have a little bit calibration of where we are in our listening skills. Some of us think that we are at 5, but okay. And you would have your good reasons to rate yourself, right? There would be a certain thing that you are wondering about and thinking about, which is what puts you in, give you that number. And that's wonderful. Thank you. My next question would be that, do you think it is a quality that will add to your life of ease, joy, and glory? Can I have some numbers? Please remember what you're marking, right? If you have a pen and paper, and if you've given a certain score, please do note down these scores somewhere next to the questions. So if it is a quality that adds to the life of ease, joy, and glory, all of us mostly agree that it's 10. Some of us think that, okay, 8, 5. Communication, listening adds maybe 50% to their life of ease, joy, and glory. Let's just stay with our own evaluations. Guru Nandanji, thank you, at 9. And then, we all rated ourselves. We said, okay, I'm 5 at listening, I'm 7 at listening, I'm 9 at listening, I'm 3 at listening. But do you really believe that you have the ability to be a good listener? Now, please understand that knowing it's good to be a good listener, that is going to add to a life of ease, joy, and glory, is very different from having that belief in self that I can be a good listener. Right. So can I have some more participation? Thanks. Thanks. So that's wonderful. That's absolutely great, because this tells me that we believe that we can be a good listener, and we are willing to handle whatever comes in our way, whatever impediments come in our way. We are willing to handle it. We are willing to look at it, and we're willing to see what is it that is coming in the way for us. So thanks very much. And then overall, how would you rate yourself? Overall, how would you rate yourself after going through that you're motivated to listen, you think it's a great quality, it absolutely ties in with where you want to be and where you want to go. But if you overall rate yourself, what would you say that you are at? Abhinavji, you had a question?
Oh, no, sorry. By mistake, I raised my hand. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And once again, I would request everyone to please note down your scores somewhere on a piece of paper. So what is really interesting in terms of what comes up when I look at everybody's scores is that we all agree that listening is a very important skill. It's going to improve our relationships. It's going to have a lot of benefit. And yet we are rating ourselves at different numbers. So obviously we are seeing there is a scope for improvement, right? And we are, what is a score that you feel that you would be absolutely happy? Oh my God, if I had this score, oh my God, this is wonderful. What score would that be as compared to what you've given yourself? Guru Nandanji. Ten. Okay, great. So we are all going to be Gautam Buddhas here, right? We're all ready to be Gautam Buddhas. Can we raise our hands and thumbs up? All right, fantastic. So now let's start looking at what are those interferences that come in our heads, because we obviously have the potential, we want to be, we agree that it's going to benefit us. So let's just look at what these interferences are. And in the beginning of the session, so many people shared that, oh, it's my, different impediments are coming in my way, like fear, like maybe some politics, maybe some judgment, something like maybe a worry from the past, right? So it could translate into how our beliefs, assumptions, and habits have been formed. And sometimes it's from the other people, like you shared that, oh, the other person criticizes me and I shut down, then I don't want to listen, right? And sometimes it's then we react, right? We may react by turning our face, by closing our listening, by doing something else, and not really giving the other person a chance, right? So we go into a reactive behavior and unreality. We get into an internal conflict, like what happened, what did he mean, what did he say, what did I say that didn't go right. Have you all faced those situations in life while communicating, while listening to another person? If yes, just thumbs up, please. And then we go into a negative emotional state, right? And that stops everything, that stops the listening. So even though we are ready, we want, but so many times that we find that we are not able to listen. There are things that bother us, that some things that trigger us, that some things that make us feel angry, upset. Isn't that right? And then we lose focus, we are low energy. Oh, why did he say like that? Oh my God, did he say that I'm, this one and that one? And then you lose the whole energy for the whole day. Isn't that a common experience? So let's just talk about listening. What exactly is listening, right? So we talked a lot about 2 ears, 1 mouth, but we didn't talk about the mind, right? We didn't have time perhaps. But so the mouth makes all the sounds, right? But when we are listening to the meanings. And how do we interpret those meanings? Now, we're going to cover a little bit today about judgment. We're going to cover a little bit about the impediment that we talked about is unreality, that how in a conversation unreality happens. We're going to talk a little bit about the interpersonal relationship, that somebody says something critical, or you don't know how to do this, are you stupid or what? Some conversations come up like that, and then we immediately withdraw and we shut our listening and we don't want to participate. So are you all excited and ready to engage and talk about these impediments? Can I have a thumbs up? Great. So how many of you would agree that listening is not done by the ears, but the mind? We hear sounds and we listen to the meanings. Yes, Ashokji. Ashokji, you wanted to say something?
No, it was very, the sign came little later, nothing.
Okay. So we know that listening is a very basic human activity, right? Right from the time we are children, we are listening to the sounds of our mother. We are listening to the sounds of our atmosphere, our environment. And this is also the way we communicate. It is a skill that determines how our interpersonal and professional relationships are going to be. Isn't that so? Isn't listening a very basic activity that we have been doing from the time that we are born? Even if we don't understand how to make sense of the meaning, if there's a loud sound, a child will get a little bit like, oh, what happened? Or start crying. And then as we go along in life, the meanings start coming up. We start associating different meanings to those sounds that we hear. Isn't that right? And then as we grow up, we are out in the world, we are making relationships, we are involved in our professional lives, in our personal lives, as parents, as teachers, as brother, sister, as a boss, as a subordinate. There's always some form of communication, listening that is happening. Right? So we are listening in all the different roles that we play in our lives. Isn't that so? So listening, does it come only in the verbal form? Is it only in the form of sounds? Anyone wants to say something? Like, I'd invite you to look at the 3 pictures on the slide and see the first lady on top. Yes, Neeti.
Just to answer your question, listening is partly verbal, partly non-verbal, and somewhere in our default state, we focus more on the non-verbal than the verbal. Is in my observation, this is how it happens, and I begin to go down the wrong way.
Right, right. So our whole aim today is to stay with our observations, look at the whole concept of listening through our conversations and our observations, and to see that, okay, I find that I am taking in a lot of non-verbal communication, something that's not being said, and that's very powerful. Thank you, Neeti, for sharing that. Which again brings me to this current slide. If anybody would like to interpret the 3 reactions, please raise your hand if you'd like to just interpret the 3 reactions, the 3 expressions on the face. They may not be reactions, they may just be an expression. Would anybody like to interpret these expressions? Yeah.
We can't see any slide over there.
You can't see the slide?
Yeah.
No.
We can see that.
Kunenji,
We all
can
can see.
Maybe sorry.
Second is
I'm joined from phone. Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sukhdeepaji, for pointing that we are also receiving communication and listening energetically. Priya, you wanted to say something? You wanted to, would you like to interpret the 3 expressions?
yes. So first one is probably anger, second is shocked, and third is joyful or happy state.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Guru Nandanji.
Yeah, I can see the slide now. I was on phone, so I had to slide it. So the first one from me is through more from a judgmental kind of an expression, and second is for more kind of a surprise, and third is feeling it deep and feeling happy about it.
Right. Thank you. And Siva Prasadji, you wanted to say?
First one is you are not accepting other person's point of view. Second one is you are surprising. Third one is you are happy with whatever they communicated.
Okay, thank you. So do we notice that we had 3 people share, and the face on top, which has a frown, you know, there were 3 different interpretations of being anger, of not being pleased, of being upset. But maybe, let's just say that maybe none of it is true. Maybe all of it is true, but maybe none of it is true. Maybe she's just having a bad day and she's saying, what is it? Like she's frowning and saying, what is it? What is happening here? Right? She's maybe just frustrated. She may not be angry. She might be just frustrated. But we are reading it as she's not pleased. She's angry. Right? And the last expression although it looks like a smile, but sometimes even smiles look like, when you're crying and there is no sound, the face expression can also look like smiling, but actually you may actually be crying.
This smile mukhota.
Right? So when we are communicating, we are looking at our own interpretations of what it means, the verbal and the non-verbal. Guru Nandan ji.
I don't have anything to say. I didn't lower my hand. That's it.
Okay. So going from that, so we have our own interpretations, right? And we look at the verbal and we have the non-verbal. So do we believe that there is an effect that we have? Remember, we're talking about listening, right? And if somebody is saying something to us, do we believe that we have an effect on the speaker?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Would you like to elaborate?
Your face expressions in receiving and listening, their point of view, definitely it will affect the speaker.
Right. So the speaker, so if you're not allowing that listening to the speaker, if your eyes are looking here and there, or if you're looking into the phone, how many times has it happened that your husband or wife is talking to you and the other person is looking into the phone, checking the news? Oh, how are the markets today?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened in, oh my God, this is what happened in UP. And you're looking at the various different news. How many times has it happened?
Many times, ma'am. Every day, even now it's happening.
So what do you think is the effect on the speaker?
Sometimes the speaker doesn't want to continue talking, already knowing that the other person is not listening only.
That's true. Thank you for sharing that. And anything else anybody else wants to share? On the effect that you have on the speaker, just by your listening?
But now, here the issue is your social media is occupying more space in your life than people.
So you're saying that when you get, it's in the act of communication, there are too many distractions, and those distractions have a bad effect on listening.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Stay with that observation. Because again, there are no rights and wrongs. This is all about us observing our own listening styles, our own listening that we have in our lives. What is it that we are making available for others? Just by the act of listening, what kind of listening are we making available to our loved ones, to our partners, to our bosses, to our subordinates, to our friends, and anyone else that we interact with? Yes, Shakti ji.
In our mind, we are believing that we can do multitasking. We can do some tasks, also we can listen. So we are ignoring the speaker. Just we are assuming that we can do both.
Right. So I would like to invite everyone to share as I. Like when I believe I can multitask, and I believe that, even if I'm looking at my phone, I can still listen to what my boss is saying. You may not do it to your boss, maybe, but maybe you might do it to your friend. Yes, Vitrivalji.
In terms of effect to the speaker, I understand that way. My response to the speaking or speaker is directly proportional to the honor I have on the speaker. If I have a good honor or respect, I will give 100% response. Otherwise, my response gets deviated.
Right. And also it is a form of giving respect, right? It's not like you may have respect, therefore I will listen, but it is also an act of giving respect when you listen. And Carlos has shared with us here, the effect depends on whether or not one awakens his ego defense. I think so. If you really want to listen to him, he is really likely to be relaxed. And if you pose a threat to his self, he will rise up in defense. So what he's saying is that how you listen, how relaxed you are, how available you are, and how, as a listener, is your body rising up in defense, all of that also affects the speaker. Thanks, Vitrivalji, for sharing your observations as well. Yes, Siva Prasadji.
Regarding the Shakti said multitasking, but I always, somehow I believe that other people is not listening to me when they are multitasking.
Okay. So the speaker affects you as well. So that brings us to the next question. How does the speaker affect you? So the speaker is saying something in a very dismissive way, or an angry way, or a calm way, or a loving way, right? It does have an effect on you as well, to your listening. You find yourself, you open up suddenly if you're feeling felt that, oh, this person is getting my feelings, oh, this person is understanding. You suddenly open up. The minute you hear some aggression in the tone, hey, you stupid, then you find yourself closing. I'm not stupid. Why is he calling me stupid? Right? So here's what I'd like everyone to think about. In terms of what are the dynamics of the listening process, right? We are listening, but all these things are coming in the way. And where do these things come from? These things come from how we are feeling. What do we need from the other person? Do we need him to say, sign me a good big check? Do I need my wife to cook me a nice meal? What are my hopes and aspirations? So we carry so many things with us. So can I invite maybe two people to just share any three of these feelings or desires or hopes or ideas or wishes? Would anybody like to just share?
The writing is too small. I can barely read.
Okay, so can I just say some of the things that I have put that makes us who we are our feelings, like how are we thinking, what is it that we are feeling? Are we feeling happy? Are we feeling sad? Are we feeling angry? What are our needs? Is our need to be, yes, Siva Prasadji, you wanna
Rashmiji, can we add expectations to this?
Certainly. Please elaborate on expectation.
Because we normally communicate with people or listen to people based on our expectations.
Right.
I want to.
Right. So if you just dissect those expectations are also a result of something that you need from the other person, or you wish from the other person, or you hoping from the other person. So here I'm asking you to share something real, like something, Vitrul ji or Hasina ji, if you'd like to just share that this is my hope, this is my fear, this is my wish, for example. I really hope that today I'm able to put a good presentation. Oh, I really fear that I may not have a good listening today, but I'm feeling a bit anxious, or I'm feeling very excited. I'm feeling extreme. My wish and desire is to have a breakthrough in the way we listen. Right? So it could be anything. And I'm just inviting you to share something that are part of your hopes, your desires, your wishes, your ideas. Siva Prasad ji, are you wanting to share?
Ma'am, I always wish to be a good listener. So, my awareness should remind me that, yes, be open and accept. That's the main thing, ma'am.
Right. Right. So we're going to look at how we are going to come to that awareness. Okay. And this slide is actually a precursor to that awareness. So please be with me and please think about it. And these needs don't have to be pertaining to today's session or specifically to listening. Like my need is to have a roof on my head. My hope is that I can provide for my children for all their education. I have a very good idea about where I want to go for a holiday next. I want to go and have a holiday in South Africa. It is my deepest desire to have a beautiful relationship of love with my daughters. So can you see where I'm coming at, what I'm trying to say? So I would really like to invite, if you feel that you don't want to say it out in the forum, you can either type it in the chat box, or you can just quickly write. Like today I'm feeling sleepy, or today I'm feeling excited, or is this my illusion? Is this my wish? I'd just like you to invite you to just maybe type in the chat box any three things that you would like to share with us. Guru Nandan ji, Shakti, would you like to share? Yes, Vitrul ji.
I would like to add one more point. Like, how we are interested in increasing our listening skill. I also have a desire. It comes in a Tamil song. It goes this way. Or வார்த்தை சொன்னாலே ஊர் மேல சக்தி போடும். Meaning, if I say a word, the whole city should change. They should listen that way.
Right. So that's an expectation. The whole world needs to stop and listen to me because Vitrivel Shanmugam is speaking today. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else would like to share anything about their hopes and ideas? Okay, so So maybe you don't want to say it out in the open forum. Maybe you don't want to chat. That's fine. Maybe you can just make a note of it for yourself. Right? And all of these different feelings, do you think is the same for me versus for Premji or for Hasina ji or for Shakti? Do you think they're the same? Anybody, please can you type on the chat box. Do you think these desires, feelings, illusions, wishes, fears, ideas, hopes, expectations, you know, somebody talked about the expectation. Are they the same for each one of us? Right. Thank you. So we really see that it is not the same, right? So when we're coming into a conversation, when we're going into talking to somebody, which is a part of listening and talking, do we realize that the other person state of mind is going to be completely different from your own?
I say something, madam.
Yes, please share.
अच्छा, only listening सुनना नहीं होता, भी एक कान से सुनो दूसरे निकाल दो, but every word में आपके जो है ना बहुत like किया मैंने, और every word implement in life. हर वर्ड को उसको मैं लाइक कर रहा हूँ और इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहा हूँ उसको. ये नहीं कि एक कान से सुना दूसरे निकाल दिया. वो लिसनिंग वो होता है जो लाइफ में यूज करो.
So like listening is about internalizing what the other person is saying. So we will come to that because and please stay with that observation of yourself, and because this is all about listening is not a single process. Can you just listen by like just sitting? Can you make sense of something that's happening in another person's life by just not having that person around you, virtually or on the phone, or just like, you know, not having any interaction? No, right? So listening is a interpersonal activity, the kind of listening that we're talking about. We're not talking about the meditative listening. We're talking about a listening in an interpersonal space, right? So all of us agreed that it's different. Everybody's hopes, desires, feelings, illusions, fears, ideas, they're different. So when two people come together to communicate, to talk, isn't it that one person is in a different state of mind and another person is in another state of mind?
Yes.
Right? And this is really the crux of what I'm trying to bring out there. Yes, Chidambaranji.
Yes, ma'am, very good morning. Actually, what I heard it's somewhere about communication and listening.
Your line is not clear. We can't hear you.
There will be a
Chidambaranji, would you like to just type on the box because we can't hear you? Okay, we'll wait for him to come back.
Hello.
Yeah, would you like to just type because we can't hear you? Okay, so while we hear from Chidambaranji's question or observation, I would just like to say that what we just discussed today has a psychological term to it. It's called mentalization. So mentalization is the ability to understand that our own personal state is different than those of others. Even before we start the act of communication or the act of listening, we all talked about our own impediments, right? Or all the things that interfere in our heads, in our minds. But also, do we understand that the other person who's come in also has things going on? Now, let me just narrate a simple incident that happened, where this is concerned. I was getting renovation done in my house while I was living there. So the renovation work was very extensive. We were doing a lot of work. There was plumbing, there was hacking, there was electrical works, everything was happening all at the same time. And I was living in the house at the same time. So I wanted to make the house a bit comfortable for myself. In the process, I ended up throwing something that my contractor needed. Now, contractor came in the morning looking for the very same thing that I had thrown away, and he got really angry. And he started screaming and prancing and shouting, and why did you throw things away, etc., etc. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? So there was like no listening from anywhere. But the whole act of mentalization is understanding that his desire is to do his job well, to do it efficiently, to do it quickly, needing those tools that he needed for that day. My whole desire was to be comfortable and not be bothered by the sounds. So we both came into that conversation with different desires. Until you don't give the other person the understanding that, yeah, and I understand that you are in a different place than I am, only then is your listening going to open up. Yes, Sukhdeepak ji.
Yeah, so see, there is a communication that has to happen. And both people have different points of view, different expectations. And communication begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. Yeah. So when we appreciate that I have a point of view, other person has a point of view, and that's what we are calling mentalization, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So and those points of view are a direct result of our own different hopes, desires, illusions, fears, ideas. Correct? So let's just look at do a little bit of a reality check. I know that we are a bit short on time, so we will have to take this second very important aspect of listening, which is the reality check. So when we are going into a conversation, into a listening mode with so many things happening in our heads, how are we going to make available our listening? That's my next question. Are you excited? Are you anxious to learn what it is and how you can bring awareness to this? Okay, so we only have 5 minutes today. So this is mentalization is something that is part of listening. And this is part 1. We will continue with the second part on the reality check tomorrow. So I would like to, at this point, invite any sharing that you would like to have. Sukhdeepak ji?
Yeah. I think before we close, don't forget to ask Kunan to do his shairi.
Yes.
My sessions are not complete until we do that. Okay. So you can stop sharing now. And I've already had a word with Rama. So great session. Thank you very much for, deepening the conversation that we started yesterday. And we look forward to your deepening it even further tomorrow. All
Thank
right.
you.
So let's invite Kunan to give us a little taste of his shairi.
Yeah. So Deepakji, if it's okay, I'd like to just have a little bit of homework between today so that tomorrow's session can become a little bit more meaningful.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So this point of view, this perspective that we spoke about, which is different, ours is different from being others. Today, as you go along in your day, just give that allowance to the person with whom you are communicating, who's saying something to you and you're listening, right? So just keep this whole process of mentalization alive throughout the day so that tomorrow when we come, we have something to share with each one of us. Are we good with that? Are we great with that? Thank you very much. Yes, Kunenji, I'm over to you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for a great session. I was listening patiently. So I need to learn more. So looking forward for tomorrow's session. Shairi jo अर्ज किया है कि but who will translate? I think you can translate, ma'am. अर्ज किया है कि प्यार की अपनी ज़बां अपना ही एक अंदाज है. प्यार की अपनी ज़बां अपना ही एक अंदाज है. मैंने सब कुछ सुन लिया, उसने कुछ भी कहा नहीं. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can.
Love has its own language and its own apni zuban, apni andaz hai. It has its own way of expression. I said so much, but she didn't say anything at all.
Yeah, I heard everything, but she hasn't said anything.
I heard everything, but she hasn't said anything. Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you, Kunenji.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So thank you very much for being here today, and I look forward to the session again tomorrow.
Bye, everybody. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Bye.